Today was a very good day because I had the opportunity to take a look at a PSP 1000 firsthand and actually get a chance to tinker with it. Most of the systems that would be on display would be turned off, and getting into those power switches is a bit difficult. You need some sort of a prick or something, and luckily a fellow customer was able to assist me, so I thank him for that. So I was able to take a look at it, and I like it a lot. I've got a couple of notes here that I wrote down to address specifically what it is that I do like about it, so let's get into that. Very first thing, to note that this is a PSP 1000. This is the original PSP, also known as the PSP Fat. Now, why did I look at that one? Well, that happened to be the one they had on display. Now, what's interesting is they sell the PSP 2000. I was at Best Buy, and they sell nothing but the PSP 2000s. Yet the 1000 is what they have on display, the original, the PSP Fat. Why is that? I do not know. All I got back was that the Sony representative for Best Buy, or for my area, because there's also PSP at Circuit City, obviously, had not gotten the chance to give them a PSP Slim, which I think is a bit criminal, because the Slim, I've heard, is... Well, I shouldn't say criminal, so I take that back, and I apologize. But the Slim, I've heard, has a lot of improvements over the original. But having spent about 20 minutes or so with the original, having had the opportunity to play the games and actually take a look at it, the game that was in there was Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII. It was a very interesting game. It certainly had a deep storyline to it, because I started a new game, and I liked it a lot. It seemed the only thing I couldn't get was, as soon as you beat that one army at the very beginning, you end up against this giant gray monster thing with orange fiery hair. I really couldn't figure out how to beat that thing, but remember, again, this is my very first time ever playing a PSP game. But overall, I liked it a lot. Let's go into more of the details about what I did like about it. The graphics are fantastic in person. They look good on YouTube, but they cannot hold a candle to what it looks like in person. It is absolutely amazing. It's like having... Now, understand that I'm coming from Nintendo. Okay, I've been Nintendo my whole life. So you're talking to a guy who has been Nintendo his whole life, and it's like having a GameCube in your pocket. I know that's not a fair analogy, but, you know, coming from Nintendo, you don't really know what else to compare it to. I mean, a lot of people say it's a PS2, and I've never really touched a PS2, so I don't really know how to compare that accurately. So the graphics are fantastic. The menus are very easy to navigate. Now, understand that I do have a vision impairment. On my Game Boy Advance, I'm putting my nose, well, not literally up to the screen, but almost, like, practically only a fraction of an inch away from the screen in order to see. The PSP screen is, I believe, I think it's 4 or 4.5 inches. It's a wide screen, and it's big. It's absolutely huge. I love it. I had to change the background color, and if I get my own, I'll probably put in a dark picture in the back just to make the menus easier to navigate. But overall, it was a very smooth experience once I picked the appropriate background color. And I liked it a lot. It was very easy to work with, very easy to navigate, and it's definitely Sony style, because it has things like the AVLS, which is the automatic volume limiting system in the settings. That's the type of thing you would find on a Walkman, so I can see Sony definitely incorporated that, which I like. Let's see, what's next? Graphics. Okay, load time. Now again, this is a PSP 1000. And the load times are... I was averaging between 12 and 15 seconds for load time. There were two PSPs, and one of them stopped reading the disc because, understand it, it's noisy in a store, and you can't hear the drive, the UMD, Universal Media Disc Drive, in action. As a result, I thought that the NBA game that was in there had frozen, so I decided to go back out to the main screen, so it let me exit the game, but then it wouldn't recognize the disc anymore. And I talked to the salesman. He said all I had to do was a hard reset, or not a hard reset, but a warm reset, excuse me, just hold in the power switch and let it turn off and switch it back on. But I'm assuming this issue has been corrected in the 2000 and will definitely have been addressed in the 3000 if that is the case. Let's see, what else? Load times, that might be one of the things I do not care for, but again, like I said, that might have been improved. The buttons. The buttons have very good tactile feedback on them. They feel solid, for the most part, and they just have a good click to them. I can definitely tell when I've pressed one of them. The only possible exception I can think of would be the smaller buttons down at the bottom for your home and your start and your select and all that. Those might be a little bit less tactile in terms of feedback, but overall it is very good. Now again, this is the 1000 we're talking about, not to be confused with the Slim or the upcoming 3000. Let's see. The analog stick. The analog stick was very interesting. It didn't lean onto the sides like one from like the Wii Nunchuck or the the PS2 or PS3 controllers. It didn't do that, and it wasn't too bad. It was interesting. It was very good. It was a very nice feel. Good feedback, very good sense of control. I had complete control over the character. I had complete control over Zack in Crisis Core, and I like it a lot. I just wish that the main menus would give you an option of navigating with the control stick, so that those who prefer the control stick can do that. Maybe there's one in an upcoming firmware update. The PSP 1000 in the store was running the latest firmware. At least I think it was the latest. It was running version 3.9 and was saying there was no need to update, so... Anyway, let's see, what else? Overall first impression, a 4.95 out of 5. So that... Now, again, this is coming from somebody who has been 100% Nintendo, never touched a PlayStation device or game in his life. And I'm giving this a first impression rating of a 4.95 out of 5. Now, where is that 0.5 going? To the web browser. Now, I know I said I wouldn't use the web browser extensively, but I did find something in the settings menu that said that Flash was supported. Now, the iPod doesn't support Flash, so that gives it a plus to the web browser in the PSP. But other than that, it stinks. Entering a web address. It's a text entry system, and you have to move around the letters with the navigation pad and push the X whenever you wanted to confirm a letter. Now, I think that's just weird. Anyway, overall, like I said, a 4.95 out of 5. I want to see the 2000 really badly. I want to see the Slim in person. I hope some stores have it. And I really want to take a look at the 3000, because if I get a PSP, which I most likely will for Christmas, I'm thinking about putting it on my list, the PSP 3000 is what I will get. But overall, I absolutely love it. The first impression was fantastic. I would definitely recommend it, and I really do think that I want one, the new 3000, when it comes out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Comments and questions are welcome, and have a nice evening.